Welcome to this Fix-It channel, and we look at the market share for the operating systems of different devices in this, of course, September 3rd edition. Of course, what's happening every beginning of the month, we like to take a look at, what are the operating systems dominating the tech world, actually. So at the bottom, the smaller portion is July. At the top, what you see is the month of August. So the numbers, let's start with the extreme right, Linux, pretty much same, 0.77%, and pretty stable at 0.77%. For those that think that Linux is taking on the world, it really hasn't moved or really hasn't grown in the past couple of years. It's relatively staying put. Now, of course, I always get that person that says, well, that's not a good number. Just remind yourself that this is part of all the operating systems, including Android here. When we just take into account, if we remove Android, if we take into account percentage of only desktop PCs, okay? So we'll remove Android for the most part, iOS also. We get a number on the desktop PC that's always around 2%. It stays at 2.5%. It's pretty much the numbers we get. As for unknown, well, the Chromebooks, for example, would be in the unknown version. Chrome OS, stuff like that. 1.94, there probably are some Linux distros that show there. From 1.94 July, 1.74, that's within the margin of error, so really we can't say that there's much changes in there also. OS 10, the Mac operating system, 539 in July, 545 in August. We can pretty much say it stays put. Once again, if you put this in perspective of just desktop version, the Mac OS 10 versions are more in the 9 to 10% of computers worldwide. Let's once again make in perspective that it's relative to all the other operating systems, even mobile here. We have, of course, iOS, the Apple operating system, having a big jump here. From 12.8% in July, moves to 13.5% in August. So that's actually an interesting increase. It'd be interesting. Apple did say that there were a lot of more sales of iPhones than they had thought. So maybe they are selling really well. And of course, the two dominating operating system, Windows. Windows at 35.9% in July to 35.8% in August. That's within the margin of error. I pretty much think it's pretty much stable probably for Windows. It's not a big enough change to really make much of a difference. And finally, Android apparently dropping from 42.2% to 41.8%. Once again, it depends, on it's still within the margin of error or almost within these numbers. And it's not impossible if you calculate that, iOS did have a big jump. Maybe Android did kind of a little bit go back down. But, Android is dominating. It's the most popular operating system with all the Android devices out there. I don't think this is going to change. I think this is going to grow over time. Windows staying pretty much equal. Over years, though, Windows does kind of, it's slower than like 3 or 4 years ago, probably. But, Android is dominating, and this is probably going to stay like that for a while. Well, at some point, Chrome OS make a dent in here and show up as its own little operating system. It's still not showing up here, so it's kind of interesting to see that. It means Chromebooks are not that popular yet, as they aren't actually showing up in the statistics here. So this is the look at the operating system market share for the month of August 2018. You enjoy our videos, please subscribe, give us thumbs up. Thank you for watching.